God, I just thank you for bringing Doug here today and his testimony. And I just ask that you let it hit the ears of everybody that's going to affect, Lord. And God, I know that every time we share a testimony that you're the one that gives us the testimony. You're the one that gets us through the fire. Satan puts stuff in our lives that sometimes we get tempted and sometimes we go with the temptation, but wherever we come back to you at, you meet us right there. And I'm just so thankful that we don't have to do anything to receive your grace. It's just there. And I just ask that everybody that hears his story and hears his testimony understands that the grace is there, that the only thing we have to do is just understand it and accept it, and also have grace for ourselves, as sometimes we're hard on ourselves. We don't think we deserve grace, but grace is all we have, Lord, and it's what gives us the peace to be able to follow you as closely as we can. And I just ask that you just be with Doug as he shares his testimony and give him power and give Dan the right things to ask. And I just ask that you just bless this and just let us feel your presence here, Lord. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Allie Schmidt. This is my dad, Dan. He owns Catron's Glass.
Thanks, Allie. Things like doors and windows go into making a house. But when it's your home, you expect more, like the great service and selection you'll get from Catron's Glass. Vinyl replacement windows from Catron's come with a lifetime warranty, including accidental glass breakage replacement. Also ask for custom shower doors and many other products and services. Call 962-1636. Locally owned with local employees for nearly 30 years.
Catron's Glass, the clear choice.
Hey, do you want to catch every episode live as it's being recorded? Log on to patreon.com/BeTempered for exclusive footage behind the scenes, photos, and a live recording as it takes place. Go to patreon.com/BeTempered. Welcome to the Be Tempered podcast, where we explore the art of finding balance in a chaotic world.
Join us as we delve into insightful conversations, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you navigate life's ups and downs with grace and resilience.
We're your host, Dan Schmidt and
Ben Spahr.
Let's embark on a journey to live our best lives.
This is Be Tempered.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Be Tempered podcast, episode number
70, Dan.
Why like that?
I don't know.
Oh, boy. Hey, today, I get the honor of welcoming Pastor Justin Wiegand.
Close enough. Wiegand.
Wiegand.
Yep.
Pastor Justin Wiegand, he and his wife, Jenny, had this crazy idea many years ago that God was calling them to plant a church right in the small rural communities that they both grew up in. The calling turned into community of faith, which started within just a few families back in Lewisburg, Ohio in 2007. Since then, what started as something small has grown into something pretty amazing. Now 5 campuses strong in Ohio and Indiana, all places where real people are being reached in the hope of Jesus. But here's what I love about Justin. He's not just preaching about discipline and faith, he's living it. He's in the middle of the 75 Hard Challenge.
Barf.
Right now, which, as you know, has been life-changing for me and also for Ben. That takes grit, commitment, and the willingness to get uncomfortable, which is what Be Tempered is all about. So we're going to dig into his story, what it looks like to plant churches in small towns, how to stay authentic in a world full of celebrity pastors, and what happens when faith and discipline collide. Pastor Justin, welcome to the show.
Where'd you get that? Did you steal that from our website? Like, no, because I don't even think that that's on our website.
It's not.
But I'm sitting there listening to it. I'm like, who wrote that? Like,
Our
Is it
research
good?
team.
it's okay.
Okay.
Like, I don't think I want to be viewed that way. Like, it was really intense. Me and my wife Jenny in rural community and Lewis. Like, God, it sounded really intense.
Well,
I really appreciate it though.
Okay.
You know,
I can tell you our research and development team came up with
which is who? That's all right.
some new technology.
All right,
these
all
days.
right. That's great. And you just took something and put it into the chat GPT. Whoa. We don't do that.
What was that name?
No, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Is it getting hot in here?
Must be a new app.
Is it a new app? Is that
It's
what it
the
is?
corduroy that I'm wearing. That's what it is.
Oh, man. Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, man. What an honor it is. I've heard so many good things about you guys, so being here is kind of cool.
Well, your name has came up many times over the past year or so. Lots of people saying, hey, you need to get Pastor Justin on. He's got a story to tell. So how we start every podcast is we like to start from the beginning. So talk about childhood, what it was like for you growing up in small town USA.
Wait, can I first say, like, Ben Spahr is one of the best basketball players I've ever seen in my life. I'm serious. Like just to get going, like, I'm like, man.
And cut.
He's with the old group of guys that I play with twice a week, he's probably the GOAT there. So I think that we should just say that out loud before we jump into the story.
How many knee braces are there in that league?
You know, there's quite
It's all about the guys you go with, you know?
there's a lot. What's really bad is when somebody just goes missing and you're like, well, they're hurt forever, you know? But no, Ben started coming, and man, what a great group of guys there. It
is.
But seeing Ben play, it's like, he's next level.
No.
He's pretty solid.
I think I'm going to have to come.
I want to see, I want to see some highlight reels from Dixie when he played there.
Oh, yeah. A lot of standing under the basket, getting one. And that was my favorite story. Is one of my buddies is like, hey, I just uploaded all of our high school games on YouTube, and I got your game-winning shot. And I'm like, I had a game-winning shot. Yes. Like, did not know. So, well, you know.
You talk about it every time I see you. You're like Uncle Rico.
It was great. He took the shot, he missed it, and there's a wide open backside layup that I got.
Yeah.
That was my game-winning shot.
Hey, that works. Hey, but I want to say this. I've heard about you guys a ton too. A lot of people ask me, hey, do you listen to the BeTempered podcast? And when you asked me to be on, I thought I better start listening to the BeTempered podcast. So,
but you didn't know we were on YouTube.
Spotify is the only thing. I don't have any like social media. So I didn't know you were on anything other than I know you're on Spotify because I have that.
So everybody out there listening needs to go to YouTube so they can watch this to see you.
Go to YouTube.
Yep. That way you can see the corduroy in live action.
Oh, and it's getting warmer by the second in here. So, all right. So where are we starting out? My childhood? How far back do we want to go? Because I don't want to spend a lot of time there.
Well, this is your show.
You know, Jeff Travis was here a couple weeks ago, and you had to turn it into a two-parter. So my goal is to not turn this into a two-parter. That's for sure.
Let's go three-parter.
Oh man. No way. You know, I grew up in New Madison, the land of Tri-Village. I'll be honest, Tri-Village wasn't Tri-Village when I was going there. They weren't what they are now. Yeah. But I went there. My parents owned a campground, so I grew up at a campground. So all my pastor friends, they all joke that I'm the socialist person they know because of that campground. You grew up at a campground. It was a family business. We all worked together. You're just working through the week. My parents owned a public swimming pool, so you'd swim on the weekends. Your friends would come out. Like I grew up in a great spot at a campground right outside of New Madison. It's called Arrowhead, and man, just one of the best ways you could grow up. Man, so many good memories there. So I just grew up in small communities. You know, New Madison was home for a while. I ended up transferring to a small Christian school in high school, and because I actually thought I wanted to go in ministry at a young age. And
what planted that seed?
Man, I don't really know. It just always had that little pull on me. Started going to church as a kid. This girl I knew, which I thought she was cute, right? So her parents started taking me to church as a kid. And man, I fell in love with church. I fell in love with God and really didn't look back much after that. And just always want to go in ministry. So, I asked my parents if I could transfer to a Christian school. Some of my friends went to that Christian school in high school, and so I was transferred to Faith Christian. It was at Faith Baptist Church in Greenville, and I spent my high school years there. And that's where I met my wife. So can I tell you a great story about how I met my wife? So we were in class, and, when the public schools kids come to visit the Christian school, like we're looked at as we got thrown out of public school, and there's the only place that'll take you is the Christian school. So, I'm visiting there, and, for all they knew, I was, just got expelled from a different school. So I'm having to be here. And I turn around and I look at this girl behind me, and I just looked at her and I said, "Man, you're cute."
You said that out loud.
Oh, I said it out loud, 100%. And she looked at me and she goes, "Please stop talking to me." Like, she's super shy. And from that point on, I was like, well, game on, right? So I pursued her, and, you know, we ended up dating. And so here's how I tell the story. And thank goodness my wife isn't here. But I say we dated on and off for a couple of years. And then we got married, had kids, started some churches. Like, that's my story. But the longer that story gets, I'm a huge jerk. And, but we'll just keep it at, we dated on and off, you know? But she's gold. But I met her in the 10th grade, 9th, 10th grade. I think we started dating in 10th grade, but met her in 9th. And yeah, that's how I met my wife. She grew up in, you know, right outside of the Greenville area. So small towns are great for her too. And we get it, right? If you grow up in small towns, you get small towns. I just went to the Ohio State game last weekend with my son, and sitting in traffic. I mean, we were talking earlier. Yeah. I get claustrophobic. Yeah. Just being in a big community, being in a big town, and why anyone would want to leave Lewisburg or Ansonia or New Madison or Richmond. Like, I have no idea. Like, just plant, stay where you were planted, man. It's so much better. That's my opinion.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because I remember Jeff Travis talking about how when he went to Lewisburg, they were like, what the heck is this place?
Oh, yeah.
You know, how small it was.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's funny to hear the people from that are raised in a city or an urban environment compared to us being raised out in the country.
Yeah, because Jeff's Detroit.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, they're terrified to come to the country. Like, it's so quiet there, where we're terrified to go to the city. It's just funny how, you know, how
absolutely
similar but different, you know, how we're both scared of each other's.
Jeff asked me, he said, "What should I do?" And I said, "Go buy a Menards hat." Like lose the skinny jeans, go buy a Menards hat. It'll help somewhat, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways.
So you make it through high school. What's next for you?
You know, make it through high school and then just kind of go off to Bible college and just trying to follow that dream there. And, you know, in that process of time, I asked my wife to marry me. So we get married, and, oh man, what if I don't know we're on this podcast? August 3rd, 2002.
You sure?
Yeah, I think so. You know, the passcode to my life is our anniversary. So pretty sure. I don't know if I should have said that here.
You might want to edit that out.
Whatever. But yeah, and her and I
running that credit card now.
Thank you for that, for sure. I left my wallet over there, so I'm sure he's got it. Now he's got my passcodes. We're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
But just, you know, we got out of there, and then we jumped into helping start a church in rural Kentucky. And, you know, a guy asked me, he said, "Hey, you want to come and help us with youth?" And I was like, sure. I didn't have anything else to do. So Jenny and I got married. And then we moved straight to Kentucky right after our honeymoon. And, you know, I go to a church where there's 0 youth to help work with their youth. And that was a trip, you know, just trying to help a church get started from the ground up. Changed facilities a ton of times. I remember one time we were in this facility that it was a reception hall on Saturday night. And then we had church there on Sunday morning, but they didn't clean up on Sunday night. Saturday night. So we'd get there early on Sunday mornings just to clean up. It smelled like beer. I mean, you could just tell like there was a party there. So we're cleaning the thing every Sunday morning. So we did that for so long. And we were there for like 4 years. So that's how I kind of got started doing ministry. And, you know, we didn't have a permanent facility. So, you know, we started meeting at a local YMCA, started finding some youth, and just, you know, hey, what can we do to introduce young people to Jesus? You know, that honestly, that's been my heart from time I can remember. I actually think it's the secret to life. Knowing Jesus is huge. And I think I can be that bold here, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
that's really my heart cry. And so, you know, that was how all that transpired. And I think what most people, and I've told this story a lot, because when you said, "Hey, I want you to tell your story," I'm like, dude, I tell my story all the time. You know, it's just to the COF family.
Right.
So I don't tell it a lot outside of that. But really people ask me like, hey, how did COF get started? Am I getting ahead? Is this
No, you're good, man. Yeah. Now COF is
Community of Faith.
There you go.
Yeah. So COF is Community of Faith. We started in 2007 and really started with 6 people. There were 6 of us that, we felt led that, we should start a church. And what happened is when I was doing youth ministry in Kentucky, because we moved there, we weren't from there. We were from New Madison and Greenville. So when we were doing youth ministry in Kentucky, I was working at a pizza restaurant too. And you had to get there super early to make dough. So I'd get there by myself early in the morning. And I was just cutting pizza dough over and over and over again. You make the dough and then you cut it into balls and then it makes pizza. So I'd use that time to pray. And I was praying and I thought, Lord, what do you have for us? What do you want Jenny and I to do? And just something on the inside, I felt like we were going to start a church in Preble County. And I was like, all right. So I go home that night and I kind of forgot about it because, the day got away from me and, I kind of thought about it and I went home and I was like, hey, Jenny, we didn't have any kids. I said, hey, Jenny, I don't know, this is crazy, but because she's from Darke County and I lived in Darke County too. So if you're from Darke County, you don't think to go to Preble County. I don't know why, but some people think that if you're from Darke County, that the fair is the greatest thing on the planet. Which it is amazing. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it is.
But so it just wasn't a thought to go Preble County, Darke County, whatever. And I came home and I told her, I said, hey, Jenny, I think we're supposed to start a church in Preble County. And she kind of just broke down on me. She's like, me too. Like it was without hesitation, And that's kind of been her. She's supportive. I mean, it's been a tough road, but she's been super supportive over the years.
But did she hear that calling too? Or was she's just that supportive?
No, I think she heard it too. Like, because it was like it was confirmed on her on the inside. She'd been feeling it told too, but she didn't know what to do with it really. Or, hey, is this God? Is this us? What are we thinking? So at that point it was a quick process. We packed up, sold our house, tried to, and moved to Ohio to try to start a church. Now, here's what's crazy. We come to the area, and we thought, all right, if you're going to start a church in Preble County, where would you go, Ben? Eaton. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's Eaton, and so, man, there's a church for sale in Eaton right beside McDonald's, and I was like, money, this is it. This is the Lord. I know it's him. So I called on it, and it was the church, right beside McDonald's. If you're from that area, you know what it is. Mm-hmm. And it was over $1 million. And I was like, hey, Lord, you got something wrong here. Like, I don't, because that's out of the budget. And anyway, so, I didn't hear anything. I just was like, well, I don't know what to do. If that is the building, what's it look like? And, man, just continued to pray.
Now, hold on one second.
Yeah.
So you decide to leave Kentucky.
Uh-huh.
I assume not much money in your pocket.
Yeah, I mean, we made a little bit off of one of our houses, but not
so
a
you're
lot.
moving up here, just pure faith.
Yeah. I mean, now our family's from here, so that helped tremendously, knowing that we actually have family up here. But yeah, we're just trusting God. And here's the thing. We went through a law firm to get our 501c3, which took every penny Jenny and I had. So we actually, once we paid for that, we had zero money. And so we're just working, trying to figure it out.
Fear?
No, we look back and we're like, we didn't have any fear. I think we were too young and dumb to have fear or naive. I don't know what the word is, but just no fear. I didn't know what it would look like. I mean, what was there to fear? We were broke anyways. We weren't going to be broker, It's like, what was there to fear?
Ever any doubt?
Like,
is this really what I'm supposed to do, God?
I think so. I mean, sure. You always kind of run that through, but I don't think I ever stopped to think that, hey, this isn't right. Like, I just kept going after it, You feel that on the inside of you, and you just got to go after it. So we just did what we knew. I mean, we found a building in Lewisburg. I mean, really after praying it out, was like, all right, Lewisburg's probably the place. And knew a buddy, asking him about a church in Lewisburg. And he's like, yeah, I know one for sale. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, actually there's two. And I said, can I look at them? So we looked at them on Saturday. And actually the original building that I still pastor, that location, that's the one we started in. And it was rebuilt in 1894. It was an old United Brethren church, which became a Methodist church. And I knew, like, hey, this is the building. Looked at the other one. The other one was newer, but this one was, man, it just seemed like it was the right one. It was right on 503. Love the building, still love the building. And I remember trying to talk about a lease option, right? Because we had no money. When I say we had no money, like, dude, we had no money. And they agreed to a lease that we could afford, but it doubled every month until it got to where it needed to be. Ooh. So it was like grow or die. That was or find a new location or something. And so, and it was very favorable. Like it was, I don't remember what the terms of it was, but we get there real quick. And, within the first year, somebody comes in and they're like, hey, your boiler's a ticking time bomb. It's from the 40s. It needs to be replaced. And he goes, what's above the boiler room? And I was like, kids' church. He goes, we might want to do something about it. I was like, all right, let's do it. So I had to go get a loan. Somebody gave us a boiler, a brand new boiler. But to install it was $10,000, which at the time, man, so I went to a banker and I was like, hey man, I got to have this or we don't have church. And it was awful. Like I didn't want to borrow money for a boiler, but we needed a boiler. So it's just those early days, man. And I was working, my father-in-law, he does construction. Am I allowed to shout out his business?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Trojan Builders, Greenville, Ohio. He does gutters and siding and windows. He'd let me work whenever. Another friend of mine, Gabe, he owns GMT Roofing in Greenville. He'd let me put roofs on. Like I could just show up and log hours whenever I could. And I'd have to go do a funeral and then I'd come back and I'd get on the roof or just whatever. And I thought this would just be life. Like that's what it would be. And the church just kind of kept growing. And I don't know how many gaps you want me to fill in between now and where we're at today.
No, yeah. Like what caused it to grow?
I honestly, people ask me that all the time. Like if you go into a business and it's failing, let's look at Blockbuster, right? Am I allowed to say that on here? I don't know.
No, that's the line.
I just crossed the line. But you look at Blockbuster and you're like, it's easy to see why they failed. Mm-hmm. So easy. But why'd Netflix thrive? Like, they about went bankrupt 2 or 3 times. It's hard to put your finger on why things actually grow. But I just know this. We just kept trying to reach the one person, kept trying to reach the lost. How quick can we get involved in the school? I was coaching basketball year 2. I was coaching, they had an opening for junior high girls basketball. And I was like, yeah, let's go. Yeah, sure. And man, some of the funnest times coaching there at the school. And today I still am involved in the school. I announce all the varsity games. I announce football. I announce basketball. I love being involved in the school. And now my kids are, a little bit older. So we got to do all the parent things and the concession stands and, but just getting involved in the school, that was, a huge, huge part of it. And I think just trying to reach young people from the get-go, just doing our best with what we had. I think you can look back from the early days until now. We just did everything to the best of our ability with the resources we had. And it's kind of the same that we're still trying to do. We try to do things to the best of our ability with the resources we have. But really I just wanted to reach Lewisburg. I had people ask me all the time, did you set out to have multi-campuses? And no, honestly, I just wanted to reach the town any way we could, help out any way we could, be involved in the community any way we could. And I think, that's what really why my heart is so focused on small communities, rural communities, is because you have that ability. You can get involved. I remember going to chamber meetings where there was only 4 of us, and I was one of the 4 in Lewisburg. And we would sit around and talk about how can we make Lewisburg better. And you can't always get that. We have a village manager in Lewisburg. He's amazing. Like, if I was in a big town, I'm not going to go to Indianapolis. I don't even know if they have village managers. I mean, do you guys know the
I have no
questions? Idea. I mean,
well, Indianapolis is not a village.
Well, that's true. Yeah. So
I came from a village in New Lebanon, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like, does Dan just try to make guests feel stupid? Is that what because he totally did right now.
It's my whole life.
I take it back.
No.
We'll edit that out.
I kind of walked right into that one, so that's totally on me.
I wasn't going to say it, but God told me.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's great, man.
I'll redeem myself.
Oh, no.
I can tell. No, I can tell you why it grew.
Okay.
It's because of you.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
man.
no, it's because of that leadership. We didn't know each other.
No.
Right before this, and we just had lunch together and kind of got to know each other. But there's certain people you can feel certain things from. You can feel, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the Holy Spirit. I don't know what it is. You just have that feeling, that aura that like, I don't know what it's going to take.
You just combined like the whole Christianity with like the New Age world with aura and the Holy Spirit. Let's try to pick one here, Dan.
He redeemed himself.
Let's go Holy Spirit here. Can we do that? Not aura.
Hey, thanks for listening, everyone.
Oh man, you guys are great. This is actually really fun. So
this is terrible. No, I'm trying to compliment
I know,
you.
I get it. I make jokes when I'm uncomfortable. So deal with that. All right.
No, but what I'm saying is that, there's certain people that have certain leadership qualities that they may not even know. And it's just the simple things like helping that one person. Like that's our whole mission with BeTempered is for your story to reach one person to do something to help someone else. Mm-hmm. And you completely relied on faith to move from Kentucky. You're making pizzas to go to Lewisburg, Ohio with $0 in your pocket, then a $10,000 boiler that you had to go get a loan for. But what'd you do? You got embedded in the community. You started getting involved. Well, what happens? Then people start to know you. They start to feel that aura, that presence, like, hey, I want to get to know this guy a little better. So maybe I'm going to go to his church. Then you start preaching, right? Then they get to know you even more. It's your vulnerability. It's your leadership. That's why it took off. But my question is, knowing where you're at now with all those different campuses, how do you go from 1 to 2 to 3? Talk about that process, because there's a business side to this, right? There is a business side, whether you want it to be or not, there is. And, I'm a businessman, and we just had the conversation an hour or so ago, at lunch about growth is hard, right? And finding the right people is the key to all of it. So how did you go from $0 to growing your church in Lewisburg to then going to that second campus? That had to have been a big step.
Yeah. So I want to clarify $0, because there is a really cool story in this. Is that I don't know that everybody believed in us when we said we were going to start a church in Lewisburg. Most of the time, people were like, "Why?" Like, they have enough churches, and and I love the churches in the community, but it was just people didn't understand. My wife supported me. My mom supported me, and my grandma. Like, they were all like, "Oh, honey, you can do it." But they kind of have to. Like, everybody else was just pitying me. I could tell, But my grandma, early on, never made a lot of money. And if she's listening, you're amazing. Grandma Wiegand, she's in her 80s now. I remember we told her we were going to start a church. It's like a year prior. Because there was like about a year gap before we knew and when we opened the doors. She just started saving money. She started saving money. and she gave us like $3,000 to start. And she had saved for a whole year, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, it helped us get on the right track. So, we could say $0, and obviously it didn't go real far, but the fact that she did that, I'll never, ever forget that my grandma Wiegand, like, she just put money aside and she gave what she had. And, man, what a blessing. Right. So, big shout out to Grandma Wiegand. If you're listening, I don't know. She knows technology more than me. I think she's on Facebook more than.
She's one of our
people.
YouTube subscribers.
Yeah, she's one of your YouTube subscribers. But just really sweet. So I don't forget that. But going from that, man, there's just so many little side stories along the way, getting established, and is this real? Should we be doing this? And honestly, getting back, like you say, it's me, but oh my goodness, I look back and I'm just like, yeah, but it's Jesus. I want to point to that. If I have anything that's good in me, it's from him. If I have any quality that is awesome, it's from him. Like, I didn't manufacture this on my own. The fact that I'm a better basketball player than Ben Spahr, that was from the Lord. Like, no, I'm definitely not a better basketball player than anybody else there. But anything that we have good in us, it's from the Lord. So if I have any leadership in me, it's from the Lord. So here's what I did know is that we started growing a little bit early on. And what I realized is I knew nothing about leadership. Never. I mean, whatever just is organically that you get from growing up at a campground. Growing up, I had a loving mom. I had a driven dad. Love them both. But whatever I got just naturally from growing up in the environment I grew up in, it was my leadership ability. So I knew, man, I had to dig into leadership. So I took the better part of a decade where I read every book, went to conferences, listened to audio CDs on leadership back in the day, like whatever I could get my hands on. And I did that for the better part of a decade because I didn't know how. And then one of the first people, so when I first moved to Kentucky, I'm going to go back a little bit. When I first moved to Kentucky, I got hired on at Office Depot. They were opening up a new store, and I needed a job. So I went to Office Depot, and this guy, Keith Peterson, he interviewed me. He hired me. Man, we become really good friends. Great guy. So he ended up leaving that store, and he took another store in Lexington, Kentucky, and I ended up going to a pizza place. Well, I call him, and I'm like, hey, man, I think we're moving from Kentucky. And Kentucky people are like crazy. They love Kentucky basketball. They love Kentucky. They do not go to Ohio. And so I told him, I said, hey, man, I think we're going to go start a church in Preble County, Ohio. And he comes with us.
Wow.
He uprooted his family. They transferred him from the Lexington Office Depot, and they gave him the Trotwood, Ohio Office Depot.
Same thing.
Yeah. Like totally same thing. Same thing. Same everything. But yeah, he came up and he helped. And so you talk about the business side, like he understood that so much better than me. I had no idea really. And so as the church has grown, like he was the guy too, working 3 jobs, helping. I mean, I remember one time we were joking about his answering machine. He had like 2 different phones because he was selling truckloads of merchandise to wholesalers. He had a car lot. He was working for a company part-time, and he was at the church. He was leading worship and running all the business side of the church. And he just moved up here and said, I'm in. Uprooted his whole family. And his wife worked for us for a while. His son pastors our Arcanum church now, and his other son's a professional musician in Nashville. So him coming was huge. And he's always been, I say that I'm the gas pedal, he's the brake pedal. It's really nice when you have somebody that will put the brakes on. And he's been really good at that over the years. He's helped me tremendously to make wise decisions. So going from one campus to 2, we grew. We were in 2 services. Then we went to 3 services in Lewisburg. And then it's like, all right, what do we do? was like, let's build a big building right on the interstate. That was my only thought. It was my only solution. And something about it didn't feel right, but we didn't know what else to do. So I remember we'd partner with the Preble County YMCA for different things. And they had a church partner there for several years, and their church partner was leaving. And I remember having a conversation at the time. The Y director there, his name was Josh Haynes. Good dude, man. Great dude. And he had a conversation and was just like, hey, you ever think about COF being our church partner? Thinking we would just move everything to Eaton. And without thinking, like, that'd be awesome. Let's do it. So Keith kind of comes in. He's like, I don't know if we're ready for that right now. And eventually we were ready. And by the time that other church went out and we started, building excitement around it, we had several families coming from Eaton to Lewisburg, and we asked all them, hey, do you want to help start a new church in Eaton? And they're like, where's it going to be? We're like, at the YMCA. We're going to set it up and tear it down every week. And people were just like, yeah, we're in. Let's do it. Let's reach Eaton too. And that's really what started something different on the inside of me. Like, a big building with one big church never just didn't feel right. I felt like the real Lord was really like, hey, don't have people leave their community to come to your church. Take the church to the community. And I'm like, all right, I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how to do that. Still don't, But yeah, that's what happened. That's how we kind of went from 1 to 2. And so there was some big factors that happened. Jeff came along right at that time. You did a podcast with him, Jeff Travis. Pretty clear that he was going to be the pastor of that church. He only wanted to commit to 3 years because he's a missionary by heart, and he stayed for 7. So, I milked a little more out of him than, he wanted to, but it worked out well.
So I want to stop you for a second, because that's another key piece. Again, the conversation that we had earlier at lunch. How do you go and you find the right person? Because, the most critical piece, or one of the most critical pieces to any church, is the pastor.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So how do you go and look for the right person?
Well, there's always been the talk of, hey, do you put me on a screen? Do we just live stream me into every campus? And man, that's never felt right for us. Now there's people who do it. I don't care how you do it. For us, it just didn't feel right. I met Jeff at a conference, and I was like, hey, what do you do? And why do you do it in Troy, Michigan? I like Jeff, he's a good dude. And he's like, travel and speak to youth groups, and I live here because this is where I'm from. I was like, all right, you should move to Ohio. That was it. I just kind of planted that and left. And, he ended up moving to Ohio. I leave a lot of details out. It really annoys my wife.
Jeff filled those in.
Yeah, I know. My wife, somebody will tell me, somebody will have a baby. I'll be like, hey, Ben Spahr, they had a baby. And she's like, oh, what'd they name it? Like, listen, I've given you all the information I know. Like, she wants to know eye color, weight, height, the whole thing. And I'm like, honey, I have no idea. So I leave a lot of details out, and I'm okay with that. Jeff filled them all in, right? So he ended up moving here, and it was pretty clear. But then there was somebody coming to the Lewisburg campus that was just amazing. And I could list people from the early days. I had an early person who helped us out administratively. Her name was Jennifer Johnson. She's huge help to us. But there was this girl coming and this family coming, Dave and Carrie Ann Helvey. And I'll be honest, you guys are from the Eaton community. Dave and Carrie Ann, just in my brain, they're two of my favorite people. Love them. And she, like, process, admin, she's why that Eaton church, like, the ball didn't get dropped over there. She just took up the mantle and ran with it. And I remember she'd work all night at Channel 7 because she's a meteorologist. Check this out. She might hear this and might not, but she first started working for me, and I introduced her as she used to be the weather girl. Oh, man. Like in the mid conversation, she just smiled and said meteorologist. And I was like, Carrie Ann is never the weather girl. She is a meteorologist and she has degrees to prove it. Right. So I just kind of laughed at that. So I learned real quick, don't ever call her a weather girl. If you're listening to this and you see her, by all means, feel free to call her weather girl.
We'll see her at football game.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
But, she was just such a huge help. She'd work all night at Channel 7 because there'd be a storm or something. And then she'd get to that campus at like 6:30 in the morning and she'd make sure that it was running. Every I was dotted, T was crossed. And it came time we needed another hire. And the first place I went looking was Carrie Ann. And some of you don't know this, like Dave Helvey is one of the best vocals and musicians I've ever encountered. I mean, the guy, when he sings and plays, it's amazing. One of my favorites. And then his wife, Carrie Ann, I mean, she's a process machine. Sometimes I think she's just trying to find new ways that we can be better. That drives me crazy, but you got to have people like that on your team. Yeah. And she's super valuable. But yeah, we brought her on right around that second campus before we launched a third. And she played a huge role in getting the third campus off the ground. And just like you said, great people coming around. Man, sometimes I look around and I just think we have better people than I deserve. And he's brought some really good people along the way. So
you just do a really good job of listening to the Lord, right?
Listen, I don't know, man. I hope. I want to.
You have to take those steps to go from $3,000 from your grandma,
which is amazing,
to get a loan for $10,000 to fix a boiler that's getting ready to blow with the kids up above, to the next campus, to the next campus, to the next campus, and now you've got how many total?
There's 5.
5 total. Yeah. You're getting ready to build a building in Eaton.
Yeah, they broke ground, so they're doing the footer actually this week.
I saw there was some dirt getting moved. Yeah. You have to listen. Like you have to listen. That's one thing that's a big thing that I struggle with. That's why I say that, because there's a lot of similarities between the Community of Faith Church and where we're at with this podcast. I mean, as you're talking, like I'm feeling what you felt early on with this.
Sure.
And one thing I'm trying to do, and I think Ben is too, is we're just trying to listen to what God wants us to do. And that's really hard for me.
Man, it really is, because I mean, honestly, so when you read throughout the Bible, and first of all, sometimes I'm like, hey, why is Ben here? He doesn't even talk.
I don't.
I mean, Ben, can you interject something here? That would be great.
I sit here and I process the whole time. I do have stuff.
Okay.
I'm just thinking.
All right.
He comes in at the end.
I come in at the end.
So quiet.
Poor Ben.
You know.
Dan's a communication major from Dayton.
Oh, wow.
I am a diploma major from Dixie.
Okay. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And you hit the game-winning shot.
Layup.
He hit a game-winning layup one time in his career. That's amazing. Here, you hope. So to me, quick obedience is huge. So there was a time where God looked at Lot and he's like, go to the land that I will show you. Now, I'm sure there's a lot that happened in between that, right? Like, but really soon after that, we just see Lot goes. God asked Abraham to take his son up, Isaac, and sacrifice him. It's like the next verse, he's loading up a donkey. And it's like, whoa, what? Like, what did you go through? What was the thought process? Like, I want some more there. But I really do. I want to be obedient. Like whatever it is the Lord wants me to do, whether he wants me to lay down COF one day, so be it. Like if he's got something else in store for me, it's his, not mine. So I don't want to, and I've struggled with that over the years. Like, but it's his, whatever he wants to do, I'm good with. And it's just kind of doing that. And I've made mistakes, and I'm sure you're going to make more mistakes with this podcast and anything you do. Yeah. But you do your best to, just make up for the mistake, and you just got to keep moving forward. So, I really do. I want to be obedient to God. I really want to hear his voice. I want to honor him. I want to live a life that's worthy and that glorifies him. I want to not apologize for anything. And we were talking about this at lunch. Like I love the word It's truth. It's the only place that we're going to find truth in a culture that is so messed up, confused, divided. I want that to be glorified. I want his word. I want the Son of God. I want Jesus to be lifted up. Like, so I just want to do my part. You know, there's a point that we're all going to get to, and I want to hear, well done, good and faithful. Like, that's it. I don't want to hear nothing else. I just want to know that I did my part, no matter how small or how big, because honestly, I don't think there is small and big. There's just obedience. That's all there is. So Stephen that got stoned, the first martyr of the New Testament church. He was just as obedient as Moses leading the children out of slavery in Egypt. Like, I just want that simple obedience. And I try to make everything simple. I do not have an engineer's brain. I do not have a complex brain. Everything to me is super simple. So if it's the right thing to do, let's do it. And if we miss it or we mess up or it wasn't right, let's go back and do our best to make up for it and then move ahead again. So you say that and I'm just like, man, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this out. But I do believe that shift happened to me at some point where it was like, hey, all these counties that everybody else is overlooking, all these rural towns that nobody else is going into. You know, I go to conferences, I meet pastors all over the place. They talk about their cities. I've heard of it. You know, Charlotte, Boston, Memphis, Nashville, you name it. And I'm like, Lewisburg. I'm like, oh, where's that at? I'm like, if I tell you, are you going to care? Like, do you even know? And people have never heard of them. You know, people never heard of those towns. But I do know that God sees each and every one of those communities. And so that's what, I can't even go on vacation. Like when I go on vacation, I drive through these rural communities because we don't take a lot of interstates. My wife likes to take back roads to Florida. So we'll do that a lot. I drive through these little towns and I'm looking for buildings. I'm like, man, is there a church here? Is there a presence here? Is there something here? Because those little towns, man, they matter so much to me. And I know they matter to God. And I know that people are called to Columbus, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, all those towns too, and that's great. But man, for us, it's these rural communities. And like, is there a need? If there's a need, let's go, you know? And if we want to hear from God and if the Lord lays that town on our heart, then we're going to do our best to get there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I want to ask you a question. I want to get your opinion on it. I've got a good friend. I told you the corduroy story before.
Yes, absolutely.
Same guy. He's in Dallas, Texas, and him and his wife have been going from church to church, just trying to find the right feel. And he said, you know, everywhere we go, I feel like instead of them preaching the gospel, reading from the Bible, I feel like they're trying to sell us their church. So how do you not do that at the Community of Faith? How do you not try to sell your church to someone?
You know, I would say it's tough because we do talk about, I mean, like I'm not trying to sell it, but I'm so excited about what we're doing. I'm excited that, you know, last night we had one of the largest baptism days that we've ever seen at Community of Faith. So I'm not saying that to sell you the church, but I'm excited about it. So I think people talk about what you're excited about, what you're doing. So you know, I'm quick to give a lot of grace to other churches because they do things different. But I think the truth of it is we have to make sure that the church isn't, Jesus is being glorified. That truth isn't deriving from opinions, but truth is deriving from the Word of God. And making sure that those are staples when you're out looking for a church. And also, you know, I'm on the other side of it, right? I'm not shopping for a church. You know, I'm kind of responsible for churches. So would you say your buddy's a Christian? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So also going into these churches with a different mindset of going, a lot of people are professional churchgoers and they go in and they're like, hey, what's this church have to offer my family? Which is fine. Like, I'm not against that. But at some point, go in and go, man, how can I be a blessing to this community? Like, find a church that could utilize your family, that could utilize your gifts. But so many people are like, hey, what can this church do for me? How can they? And that's fine. But I love the shift in the mindset of what can I do to be a blessing here? How can I be an encouragement in this community? Because I think there's great churches all over the place that if families would come in and dig in and help out, like it's just such a huge blessing to that church. So I would say, if it's heavy on selling the church, be cautious, right? But if they're highlighting and they're excited about what they're doing, if they're not excited about what they're doing, I wouldn't want to go there either. Right. So there's a weird balance between the two.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, is it a motivation? I don't want a motivational message. I don't want somebody's opinion. That's why I love, especially at my campus, I love people to bring their Bible. Like, bring it. I want you to know your Bible. There's things I think we should do every day. I think we should pray every day. I think we should be in our Bible every day. I think we should learn every day. I think that there's just things that we should think every day. But better than any book, I've read 10 books this year. The best book is still the Bible. It's the only one that gives me life. It's the only one that brings life change to me. It's the only one where there's absolute truth. And I believe that. So the best discipleship tool we have is the Bible. Like, we better be pushing our people there. So be sure that we are making the Bible the thing, the priority, and that Jesus is being glorified more than anything else. I can't bring life change. COF can't bring life change. But, man, if we can be a conduit to help connect people to Jesus, man, that's my heart. That's what I want for all these communities. So that's just, I'm trying to be honest about
that was a good answer.
Your buddy. I'm like, hey, man, try to look at it a little bit different too.
Yeah.
And just go into it going, hey, what can we do? What can we do to be a blessing to this community, to this church, to these people?
Yeah.
He gave us all gifts to actually bless other people. So what can we do? And I think we're just professional Christians in the American culture. And I don't love that. I'm not a big fan of professional Christianity. Like, I want to just be a servant. Find a need. You want to be more like Jesus? He came to serve. So look for those needs in your community.
But I also feel like that's why community of faith grows, right? Because isn't that the heart of everything is community?
Well, maybe. I sit here and I'm like, I hate agreeing. Just be like, that's why community of faith is awesome. But yes.
I'm just saying, right? Like, Arcanum, how many people did you guys baptize?
79 last night.
Didn't even realize there's 79 people in Arcanum.
Right, yeah.
I did, but you know what I mean.
There's like 1,500 people in Arcanum.
Right. Was that your third campus that you opened?
That's the third one. Yep. Mm-hmm. And actually, we started it on a Sunday night. I would do 3 services in Lewisburg on Sunday morning, and then we would all drive over to Arcanum on Sunday night, and we would do Sunday night.
And it's just, I don't know, like the blueprint of community of faith, it seems like is, preach Bible-based, everything scripture-based, the truth, the living word. And then after that, it's community. Like, that's what the heart of it is. And that's why it grows in baptisms. But I feel like that's what, professional Christianity, like you're talking about, I feel like that's where those all kind of miss the mark and everything, because you don't have that community. You don't have, seeing your neighbor at the grocery store and you're serving with them all the time, or serving your actual community, like having pride in your community. If you have pride in your community, it's going to change your morals of the community. It's going to change everything. Like you said, it's huge. So I get the heart of the community, what you're talking about, and seeing
and getting people involved, just like you, you went and coached middle school basketball.
Look at the deep well of Ben Spahr. He's just adding value. Look at this. I love it, Ben.
I'm done.
Yeah. No.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but where's the needs? Like, if it's girls basketball, you got a coach, then do it. Mm-hmm. If it's something else.
And what's crazy this day and age is seems like not many people want to get involved. It seems like these volunteer organizations, even at the churches, it's hard to find people because everybody's so busy.
It's
right?
true.
But where's the priorities in life?
Man, that's a drum that I beat a lot. Like, if you don't have time to volunteer or to be able, and I'm not saying at the church, just in general in your community, and like, let's rework our life. I've got a son who's a pretty good athlete, but travel stuff wasn't an option because I can't be gone every Sunday. It just wasn't an option. And I'm not against anybody doing anything they think, but man, let's have downtime. Like, how do you ever have time to think? You know how many marriages I see fall apart after the kids are gone? Because it was the only thing holding them together. Like, let's put some margin in our life. Let's take time to breathe. I was preaching yesterday. I love so many times we see in the Bible where Jesus was taking a nap. I'm like, nobody has time to take a nap anymore. Like, find some rhythms in life. And I don't know how awesome it is that we run ourselves to death. And it's all good things. Like, but are they right? Like, I think we should at least step back and question, is my rhythm of life right? Am I running at a pace that's sustainable? Do my kids know to break and take a break from their phone, take a break from sports, and just think and read and go outside? Man, we need to be... I got so many thoughts. We need to spend more time outside.
Well, I can tell you, I mean, just yesterday, so I helped coach my youngest son's flag football team.
Yeah.
And one of the young kids on our team, he's in soccer right now. He's in flag football right now, and he's also playing baseball. This is a 10-year-old little kid. Like, when does he have time to be a kid? I could tell he was exhausted. Mm-hmm. When does he have time to be a kid? When do the parents have time to spend time with each other, husband and wife? And we've done enough of these podcasts, and we've interviewed enough people to know that a lot of times when that falls out of balance and then the family gets divorced, parents get divorced, that is the biggest turning point in a lot of these kids' lives as they get older, is when mom and dad get a divorce.
100%. We can say kids are resilient, and they are to an extent, but it has a long-term effect.
It does.
I mean, I talk to young adults all the time. I got several that work for me, and man, the young adults, that stuff seared into their brain about what was made a priority, what they did, how young they were given a phone or a device, and stuff forms them oftentimes in a negative way. And I just think we should be conscious of it. Like, let's at least step back and go, are these rhythms of life right? But nobody wants to step back and address it. I think we should. If you're listening, too busy.
Yeah.
And if they slow down, they might have to deal with issues.
That's right.
Ooh, man.
Yeah. That's it.
The quiet's scary, man.
Yeah.
But it needs to be addressed.
So let me ask you another question. This is something I always like to ask pastors, because you hear a lot. People come to you a lot with issues, right? With things going on in their lives. And quite honestly, we get a lot of it now.
Sure, absolutely.
You know, once we open the door and we start having these conversations, then people want to come and tell you their story, which I love. I mean, that's why we're doing it, because I can see that it helps people, right? Same thing for you. How do you deal with that mentally when you hear all these stories and you're trying to listen, to give advice? There's some hard things that you have heard in your life, I'm sure.
Sure.
How do you handle
hard
that?
things you hear, but I mean, hard things you got to navigate.
Yeah.
Because if you lose a best friend, you go to their funeral. If I lose a best friend, I do their funeral. Like, so it's not only navigating the things that I hear, but just navigating the everyday stuff, because I'm still dad. When I go home, my kids don't know what kind of day I've had. Like, my wife doesn't know what kind of day I had. I think the way I deal with it is I got some good wisdom along the way, learning to take downtime, learning to be away. But also, I was talking to an older guy one time, and he told me, he said, find a tree. So before you go into your house, leave all your worries on that tree. He said, you can pick them back up when you leave the next morning. He said, but you got to find a way to leave that stuff. So whether it's, your drive home, or, the tree, we're not going all, tree loving stuff here, like the aura that you tried to earlier. But he literally said, just grab a leaf. He said, and just put your worries on it. And it's easy to say, it's really hard to live. But I've learned that I got to be able to an extent, shut that off. My wife would say there's seasons I go through, I'm probably bad at it. But then there's seasons I go through where I'll turn my phone off at night. And she's like, then they call me, But I've just tried to be present. I hear so many people talk about you got to have balance. And I have found that balance is really weird.
It's impossible.
So when I'm at work, I'm 100%. I'm there. My wife and I don't text much throughout the day unless, hey, you're picking Cammie up at this time. Like it's just that, but we don't talk on the phone much because I'm 100% there with the people I work with, what we're doing there, at work. But when I'm home, I try to be 100% there. I don't try to balance the two. I try to give all my energy to what I'm doing at the time. It's just like coming to this podcast. You guys said the same thing. We all left our phones out of here and we're not that important that we can't take hopefully an hour. Like, I don't even know how long it's been.
7 hours.
It was 3 hours already.
Oh my!
I'm just kidding. You're in an hour. You're good.
You're in the part 2.
Jeff, right? But you can take time. You can take downtime and slow down. And I just found that that's a good rhythm for me. I think my natural state is to stay up late, get up super late. You can't live that way and be really well. So I've just learned, man, go to bed at a decent time, get up early, and spend time with God, spend some alone time, quiet, spend some time reading, and it just makes the day better. I can navigate better that way. But I hear I wish I could just do a podcast where I told you the stuff I've heard over the years. They're crazy. From the back door of a church to in my office, I've heard things that I'm just like, is this real? And it is. I mean, life's messy with people. Mm-hmm. And what's crazy is nobody wants to talk about it until it hits them square in the face. And when their relationship gets wrecked, they want to talk. When their job gets wrecked, they want to talk. And when their finances get wrecked, they want to talk. But other than that, they just want to go through life as quick as they can with their head down. It's like, no, we can't do that. We actually have to address some things. So that's what, I try to do. I try to take time and address some stuff. And I go through seasons where I'm probably more unhealthy than I should be. And my wife is real quick to tell me, hey, your brain's going to break. You need to slow down. You need to chill out. You need to calm down. And I'm thankful for that. It's good.
She says it's time to do 75 hard.
No, she'll never say that because I'm too tired. Like I have a little less energy, and man, when I'm on 75 hard, those 2 workouts, they get you, and then you go to the bathroom 100 times a day.
How you feel right now?
I feel good. I'm good. I haven't had anything to drink for,
there's water
3
right
hours.
there.
No, I'm good.
It's tempting.
Then I'd have to measure that. Like I drink 4 32-ounce bottles a day. So I try not to drink anything else. Anyways.
Yeah. No, it's impressive. We talked about, and 75 hard, obviously I wore the shirt for you.
Yeah, you did.
And
Thank you.
And I know, we've talked about Andy Frisella, and Andy's, you got to kind of take with grain of salt, right?
Right.
His communication style is a little in your face.
Absolutely.
But the program, I think for me was like, I mean, it's the reason that we're doing this podcast. It's the reason my life changed 3 years ago. And so, knowing that you have done it multiple times, talk a little bit about what the first time, like, why did you start 75 Hard? Because it's not an easy thing.
No, it's not. And I think I just got to a point where I just live in this perpetual cycle of up 50 pounds, down 50 pounds, up 50 pounds, down 50 pounds. Like, it's terrible. And so I came across 75 Hard somehow. I asked a handful of people to do it with me, and we did it. And, I needed that. I could tell I was just getting a little unhealthy. I have a pretty unhealthy job if I'm not careful. Mm-hmm. Like, sit around, talk, have meetings, study, eat. You have lunch every day with somebody if you're not careful. So it's just a bunch of that. And, just probably getting to a point where I wasn't very healthy, and just was like, man, I want to change. And somehow I got a hold of 75 Hard. I don't even know how. Somebody probably told me about it, but I don't even remember who. So I researched it for a minute, and then you hear Andy, his mouth is terrible. But I was like, I like the concept. And I like structure. I like discipline. I loved practices in high school, and where you got to run a lot and you got to work. I just always loved that. So it was a challenge, and I thought, all right, I can do it. Well, ended up, I did, 75 Hard. I did phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And, just a great experience. I still hate the water the most. I'll take a cold shower over a gallon of water a day, all day. That's
why?
The water because you can't get behind on it. I can stay up late and do 2 workouts. If you have to hammer 3/4 of a gallon after 7 p.m., your whole night's
you're not sleeping.
You're not sleeping. So the water gets me I love the reading. It's the water, it gets me. So drinking a gallon a day, man, it just wears me out. So I try to get a half gallon in before noon. And then I'll get another quarter gallon in before I leave work. And then the night at dinner, I'll drink my last quarter gallon. So anyways, but I did it just because it sounded good and I just fell in love with it. I like it. And then, so can I put people on blast on this podcast?
100%.
Yeah. So just like 2 months ago, I'm walking in Lewisburg and this guy's insurance guy in town, he pops out his door. He's like, "Hey, Justin, come here." It's Todd Appledorn. I'm like, "What's up, Todd?" He's like, "Want to do 75 hard?" I was like, "Man, when you thinking, Todd?" He's like, "Tomorrow." I was like, I hate you. But I was like, yeah, why not? I'll do it. So we both messed up at day 20. And the premise of the program, if people don't know, if you miss one thing, you got to start at day 1. You do it 75 days in a row without any excuses. So he missed a workout because he was up at Derby days late. And the same exact day, I missed you got to read 10 pages a day. I missed 1 page of reading. And everybody's like, "How'd you miss 1 page of reading?" I was reading. I was in the middle of reading and we had to go uptown to get one of our kids. And my wife goes, "Honey, we got to go." So I put the book down. I thought I'll read 1 page when I get home. I went to bed, never looked at it again. So I woke up the next morning. It said, "Did you fail?" And I was like, yes. So, you just have to start over. So I called him and I started over at day 1. He started over at day 1. And then he had like a flood in his house and he texts me and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to fail again because I got to deal with this flood in my house." And he had to replace his bathroom. And I was like, excuses.
Yep.
Excuses, Todd.
Yep.
I feel really bad. I love Todd. I'm giving him a hard time completely. But he did start back at day 1, I think, on last Tuesday. So he wanted to make sure he got Memorial Day in. So he started last Tuesday. So he's a pretty good ways behind me. But heck, I might finish with him. I don't know. I actually
he's
enjoy
done it. He's done it before.
Yeah, he's done it before.
Yeah.
I think he's done it with your brother.
Yeah.
So pretty fun. I like to give him a hard time that he hung me out to dry, but I kind of like doing it by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
Get up early. I can go to the track and walk in Lewisburg. It's nice, or get a late workout in. I love that one of them has to be outside. And man, I like to plan it when it's raining and just to be outside. I love doing it when it was like 0 degrees outside. Mm-hmm. Like there's a part of it you just kind of love.
Yeah, you embrace that.
Yeah, so.
And those are the times you don't forget either.
Oh, 100%.
Those challenges, yeah.
100%.
What you got, Ben? Anything else?
No, I don't do anything.
What's the goat guy? Hey, how old are you, Ben?
Huh?
How old are you?
47.
Yeah, for men.
No, he's not.
Oh, how old are you? For real?
You might look it.
37.
37 for men, 37 and over. He's one of the best basketball players I've ever seen. All right, where do we go from here? I don't want to go too long in your podcast.
4 and 5. What are the 4 and 5 locations? We said the first 3.
So campus number 4 is Richmond. Had a lot of families coming over from Richmond, and man, just felt like the right thing to do. We actually started in the YMCA on the other side of town, and then we went to the AMC, and we were in the AMC for a while, and then we ended up buying the old Cox grocery store, which is behind the mall, and that's our permanent location there. And then Greenville, we bought a church building during COVID, and so Greenville is the newest one. Man, just crushing it. He the pastor of that church is so community minded. He grew up, graduated from Missinawa. So he's a local kid. And then our Richmond pastor, he's wonderful. He's one of the best teachers I've ever encountered in my life. He teaches the word so well. So I'm just thankful for all the campuses. But I'll say this, like going from, and I don't want to lean into it too much, but going from 3 campuses to 5 campuses was the most painful thing in all we done at COF. Just how we did things, the strain it put on some really good people. We didn't, there's just some things that we were doing that probably wasn't the super healthiest, people rotating campuses every week, not going to churches with their families, like just made some mistakes and didn't realize it till it was kind of late. so I've tried to help a lot of church planners through and just go that are planning multi-sites. And I'm like, hey, something changes when you go from 3 campuses to 4 and 5. You cannot do things the same way. We're a logistics company sometimes, just trying to get coffee to every campus every week. We have a gray folder that has to go out, making sure they have all the supplies they need, from trash bags to cleaning supplies. Like, you don't think about getting all the curriculum to the campuses. You don't think about that stuff. And so we went through some really hard times through campus number from 3 to 5. And but we navigated through it. We did our best to recover from it, and just did a good spot now with the 5 campuses. So yeah. And, I think 6 and 7 are, they're in the sites. I'm not ready to announce on this podcast where it's going to be, but we'll probably start.
This podcast isn't good enough for that.
Oh, you said it, not me. Okay.
And cut.
Yeah.
All right. Last question.
Yep.
If you could sit on a park bench, have a conversation with someone living or deceased, who would it be and why?
You want to choose your wife, right? But I sit with her all the time. So, I thought about this for a little bit, and there's my first answer is Billy Graham. Like, if you ever get a chance, just go on YouTube and listen to his old crusades. They're amazing, and they're still relevant. Like, listening to him preach is one of my favorite things to do. And you can hear it's like the old school sound system in the background. But I would just sit down and say, hey, like, how do you do it for so long? I mean, you advise world leaders, pastors, and he wasn't a celebrity like type. He didn't want the fame. He was just steady, and he preached the same thing. I mean, I don't know that he has more than 5 or 6 messages. He probably does. But, I mean, he preached consistent, the same salvation, turn to Jesus message over and over and over again. Would love to sit down with him. But you said something earlier about celebrity pastors, which I don't want to be. But there's one dude I think that there's thousands of guys like this all over America that we overlook. So Billy Graham would be my park bench guy. But there's a guy from Eaton, and he pastored my grandparents. He buried my grandparents, and he pastored faithfully in that community for over 50 years. His name was Lowell Spencer. And to me, those are the rock stars. Those are the celebrity pastors that everybody overlooks. I remember my grandpa passed away, and I was in high school. Lowell Spencer's the one that walked down in my basement, woke me up, and told me my grandpa had passed away. And guys like him they're the real deal. I don't care if somebody has social media followers, they have TV programs. I don't care if they've written books. Guys like Lowell Spencer are the real deal. They faithfully served their church and their community for half a century. Guys like that, I think, should have way more attention than guys who have just built a big church. Show me where everybody's at in 50 years, not in 5 minutes. So that's my park bench is Billy Graham. Guys like Lowell Spencer are heroes to me, and I think they need to be recognized way more for their faithful service than what they are. We just lost a stud in our community. He pastored there for years. David Justice just passed away in Lewisburg. But faithful, loved God, loved to worship, loved the community. Like, those are the guys that to me, those are the heroes. So anyways, that's my 2 cents there at the end.
That's pretty awesome. How can people learn more about the Community of Faith website?
COFchurches.com. You can check that out. I think there's, I'm not on a lot of stuff, but I think there's Facebook. I think there's Instagram.
Facebook, you have Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram, there's that.
There's the app.
And actually people if they want to physically come, they could come to one of our campuses. All the info is on the app or on the website, so they're welcome to. But I'll say this, if you have a good church, stay plugged in. Be a blessing to that church. Don't leave them for something better or what you think's better. The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is only green where you water it. So water where you're at. It's huge.
That's great. Love it, man. Hey,
cool.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you coming over here to Richmond. And,
It's an honor. This is one of our towns, man. We got to be here.
Yeah.
So we love Richmond.
It's a great story, especially for me, not knowing it, not really knowing you and getting to know you. So appreciate it. Everybody, like, share, do all those things.
And if I didn't shout out somebody who's been a blessing to the organization like I did with Keith and Carrie Ann, like, I'm sorry. You're all amazing and important to us. We couldn't have done it without you. For real.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just saying.
I know.
They're
I'm just
amazing.
messing with you. No. All right, everybody. Go out and be tempered.
Hi, my name is Allie Schmidt. This is my dad, Dan. He owns Catron's Glass.
Thanks, Allie. Things like doors and windows go into making a house, but when it's your home, you expect more, like the great service and selection you'll get from Catron's Glass. Vinyl replacement windows from Catron's come with a lifetime warranty, including accidental glass breakage replacement. Also ask for custom shower doors and many other products and services. Call 962-1636, locally owned with local employees for nearly 30 years.
Catron's Glass, the clear choice.
Hey, do you want to catch every episode live as it's being recorded? Log on to patreon.com/BeTempered for exclusive footage behind the scenes, photos, and a live recording as it takes place. Go to patreon.com/BeTempered.